Have we forgotten how to program? Welcome back to the channel. This article was posted back in 2016, but I feel like it holds big value. I don't recall reading it ever. Let's read it together. Find out if we indeed forgot how to program. I think so. Let's see. NPM and left pad, have you forgotten how to program? Intro. Okay developers, time to have a serious talk. As you are probably already aware, this week React Babel and a bunch of other high profile packages on NPM broke. The reason they broke is rather astounding. A simple NPM package called left pad that was a dependency of their code. I think if you watched some of my videos, I always say that the least dependencies the better. If you do it yourself, you at least know who to blame. Leftpad at the time of writing this has 11 stars on GitHub. The entire package is 11 simple lines that implement the basic leftpad string function. In case those links ever die, here's the entire code of the leftpad package. Okay, so it's a leftpad function. I'm curious if this is the best possible implementation. They probably benchmarked it, at least I hope so. But see, why would you want to import this? It's like 11 lines. Why don't you just Google this? You can just copy paste this function into your code. Come on! You should be able to write it, but you don't. You need to import it because that's much simpler. No. Okay, so what concerns me here is that many packages and projects took on a dependency for a simple as padding string function rather than their developers taking 2 minutes to write such a basic function test. See, I already agree with the dude. Kinda like him. That's a huge problem. That's a huge problem. For something simple as this, I just Google it or write it myself from scratch. It's fun. You know, you're a programmer. What do you want to do? Some may say that modern day programming looks like as if it was an editor for a YouTube video. You just cut the existing content together and you get an application, but back in my day when I was young, programming wasn't about that. We used to create our own stuff, and NPM and all that, it's a great tool, and you can reuse work of other people in a simplistic way, but overdoing it leads to such problems. As a result of running the leftpad disaster, I started investigating the NPM ecosystem. Here are some of the things that I observed. There is a package called isArray that has 880,000 downloads a day and 18 million downloads in February 2016. It has 72 dependent NPM packages. Here's the entire line of code. Oh my god, this was 7 years ago, so I hope that's 58 million. Just use array, isArray. See, now we have isArray. So this is for like older versions. And where are the zero dependencies? Okay, at least it doesn't have dependencies itself. Oh my god. But then there is a package called isPositiveInteger that is 4 lines long, and as of yesterday required 3 dependencies to use. Are you come on. isPositiveInteger. Oh my god. The author has since refactored it. The requires 0. Okay, so it's 0. Okay. So it's better now. But I have to wonder why it wasn't the way in the first place. Do I need 4 dependencies to check if number is positive? Come on. If you think you need a package for that, you need to learn. You need to learn. Trust me, you need to learn. You don't need a package for that. No. Fresh install of the Babel package includes 41,000 files. Okay, a blank JSPM NPM based app template now starts at 28,000 files. And all of this leads me to wonder, have you forgotten how to program? Or what possible plane of existence is the better solution to past problems? How are hundreds of dependencies and 28,000 files for a blank project template anything but overly complicated and insane? It's insane. It's insane. I get the impression that the NPM ecosystem participants have created a penchant for micro packages. Rather than write any functions or code, it seems that they prefer to depend on something that people else has written. Yeah, you don't want code, you just wanna, like a film editor, just cut them together. Hate it. It feels to me that as if the entire job of an NPM participant developer is writing the smallest amount of code possible to string existing library calls together, to create something new that functions uniquely for their personal business need. Calling yourself a developer just because you can string together or put together some packages, it's nonsense. This is not what programming should be about. Programming should be about learning the new ways, finding ways to solve issues, and if you can avoid using something external, then you should, I think, Not in every case, you know, there are some cases, but patching together stuff that's not programming. That's sort of it is, but it's not. Functions are not packages. Functions are too small to make into package and dependency. Pure functions don't have cohesion. They are random snippets of code and nothing more. Who really wants a cosine dependency? We really like a trigonometry dependency instead, which encompasses many tricky functions that we don't want to have to write ourselves. This is much more akin to how .NET and other frameworks create a core library of basic functionality. Such library is vetted by the creators of the language and pretty much guaranteed to be correct and debug free. Yeah, so when you use these packages, there's no guarantee they're bug free. The more you add, the more problems you're gonna face. You wanna avoid as many bugs as you can. Given that you write a piece of code, that doesn't mean that it's gonna be bug free, but at least you are the one who created or searched for it. At least you see the function. When you import everything as a module, you don't even see the function, you just use it, which is, yes, sort of like how .NET works, but there's at least some guarantee that that is correct, that's properly tested. How do you know these packages were tested? You don't know. And how do you know if they were properly tested? You don't know. I know I always say we don't do tests. No, you get the point. There's absolutely no guarantee that what someone else has written is correct or even works well. See? Even if correct is the most optimal solution possible, that's the other issue. At least when you write the code yourself, you can easily modify it, fix bugs, and improve its efficiency. See? The same thing. Not that there should be many bugs in one-line functions. Yeah, but there can be. Okay, that's not the point. Second, even if the package's logic is correct, it can help but be amazed by the fact that developers are taking on dependencies for single-line functions that they should be able to write with their eyes closed. In my opinion, if you cannot write a left pad, is positive integer, or is array function in 5 minutes flat, including the time you spend googling, then you don't actually know how to code. I'm sorry to say that. That's not an insult. Don't take it as an insult. That means that you need to learn. Doesn't mean you're dumb. It means that you have this fake understanding of what coding is. That's not coding. If you can't do that in 5 minutes with your eyes closed, including googling, you don't know how to code. That's it. Any of these would make a great code screening interview question to determine whether or not a candidate can code. Yeah, so see, you can get this anytime and you don't need to memorize it. It doesn't matter. You need process of solving these issues, and the more times you do it, the better you get at it. You will remember that, oh, okay, I can do this because it's not optimal. I will do that instead. You know, this is the experience you can't buy or you can't just trim together. Stringing APIs together and calling it programming doesn't make it programming. It's some crazy form of dependency hacking that involves the cloud, over-engineering things, and complexity far beyond what's actually needed to create great applications. What's worse is that if any of your code or the third-party dependency code has a bug or breaks, you won't know how to debug or fix it if you don't know how to program. You don't know how to code, and you won't be able to fix the issue. If you write the code yourself, you will be able to at least fix it, even if it's an external dependency. Strive for few dependencies. Again, agreed. Every package that you use adds yet another dependency to your project. Dependencies by their very name are things you need in order for your code to function. The more dependencies you take on, the more point of failure you have. Not to mention the more chance for error. Have you vetted any of the programmers who have written these functions that you depend on daily? Take on the dependency for any complex function that would take a lot of time, money, and or debugging to write yourself. Things like database access layer, ORM, or caching. Client should be dependencies because they are complicated and the risk of the dependency is well worth the savings and efficiency. See, you take something that's very hard to code, you find a very trustworthy package and use that. Not like a string pad function. What are you doing? But for the love of all that's programming, write your own bloody classic programming functions. Yeah, taking on dependencies for these one-liners is just nuts. Don't believe me? Just ask the React team how their week has been going and whether they wish they had written those 11 lines of left padding and string themselves. Exactly. In 2016, React was already a big thing. Not as big as now, but it was a big thing. And see, even the biggest ones do these mistakes. Take a note. If you don't know how to solve this problem, I tell you honestly, I don't know how to make this function right off the bat like that. I will definitely, if I sit down, I will definitely figure it out. I made this many times before, but I don't recall how exactly. In my head, I'll try to create a solution, write it down, or if I don't want to, I can just Google it because I know I did it before, and I will recall, oh, this is very close to what I've been doing, and just take the code, modify it, test it, and there we go. Now I have a leftpad function. Do it from scratch or just take another one's code and use it, but don't just like use it as a dependency. Dependencies shouldn't be used like that. Dependencies are for bigger stuff, like as he said here, ORMs or crashing clients or whatever. This is a really great article, and I think everyone who wants to be a programmer should read it. This is something you need to engrave in your minds before starting, or even if you started programming, or even if you're coding for a long time, you should have your mind set like this. I think this is very positive. It's written in 2016, 7 years ago. How old were you 7 years ago? This article stood the test of time, and it's perfectly written, and I think it will be true for a very long time. So take a note and be better every day. A great article, David Haney. Thank you. But this is the end of the video. Feel free to send me articles. I'm more than happy to read them. Easy content, you know. Thumbs up. Don't forget to like. And subscribe. Like, subscribe. There you go. So see you in the next video. Have a nice one, and bye.